Good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. And we are actually December 2nd. Yes, December 2nd, 2012. It's hard to believe that we're just 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks away from this wonderful shift of the ages. It's exciting. The energy is just all, I feel it. Can you all feel it?
Oh yeah.
It's so beautiful, and just today, all the wonderful energy that so far has been shared, and the music, I'm vibrating. So I am really, really jazzed about the possibilities and where we're heading as a spiritual planet, as a spiritual family, and just as human beings. We're really going to tap into our true nature, which is only love and only light, and to really embed that into our Mother Earth. And just, I can imagine what all the beings from the other realms, as they look down on Mother Earth on that sacred time, just a couple of weeks away, what this is going to look like. So it's very awesome. So it's great to be here. And I chose a topic today, what say you? And you know, the first time, actually, I knew it was a statement that meant, what do you say? Or what would you like to say? And I always envisioned, you know, back in the historical England, you know, that they would have the wigs and the robes and what say you, yay or nay? And then Rush Limbaugh and what's that other clown's name? Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity, you know, they start using it. And, you know, I say that with love, really. You all know me better than that. I would have said that if it was Randy Rhoads or Rachel Maddow. What's that clown say? So it's not meant to be a political jab or anything. But I always thought, okay, well, what say you? Why do they say that? And it didn't even sound like proper English. But it always sort of, you know, just got me thinking. So then I went to see the movie Lincoln. Who has seen that so far? Twice. It's a fabulous, fabulous film that I really recommend. It's tremendous. We're so blessed right now. We've got that movie. We've got The Life of Pi. That's supposed to be also a very wonderful movie that I'm excited to see soon. So there's a lot of great films out with a great spiritual message. And certainly we all, you know Honest Abe, and we knew what he stood for, and primarily you know, the emancipation of slaves, which was remarkable. And you don't realize how remarkable it was until you see the movie, which I believe is historically accurate. I really do. And Daniel Day-Lewis, oh my God, his portrayal of Lincoln was beyond amazing. He really just captured him. You really felt like you were in the presence and likeness of President Lincoln. And it took you in. It was a great movie. And of course, when they were convening in their political meetings, that brought up the what say you again. And I said, okay, well, that's interesting, but what got spinning in my mind was, you know, what say you? What do you say? And of course, you know, in that context, it's one thing, but where I want to go today is start a little bit about President Lincoln and who he really was. And he was much more than a political figure. This man was, I believe, a presence of light and love on the planet. And he really was probably one of the most powerful humans that ever walked the earth. And I guess I've never given him credit. It's real easy for me to go, of course, to Gandhi, to Martin Luther King, to Jesus, Kennedy, whoever. But Lincoln's not someone who had always come up in my conversation when I'm speaking of great beings who walk the planet. But now he is, of course. And so much of what he stood for was much more, I think the emancipation of the slaves was a byproduct of who he was. He knew who he was as a being of infinite love. He knew that his place on earth was that all men are created equal, and that everybody deserves that right and that privilege. And you know, he obviously, as many others did, he stood in his power he stepped forth and, of course, gave his life for his message, as many other masters on the planet have done as well. So, but it was a great movie. I was really moved and touched by who he was. And, you know, basically he was, as we know, the 16th president of the U.S., and he was serving from March 1961 until his assassination in April 1865. Did I say something? 19. Yeah, 1861 until 1865. Thank you. And he successfully led our country through the greatest constitutional, military, and moral crisis, the Civil War. And he also, of course, emancipated the slaves, which was amazing. And it really wasn't a popular decision at the time. And what really I got such a great insight about was that the Republicans of his day are actually the Democrats of our day. And I'd like to know if anyone could tell me when that shift occurred, when the shift came that they took opposite roles. I just found that interesting, because he was a Republican. He was all about all for one and one for all, basically, and a very powerful being. And you know, we're also, many of us, I see on the hiking trails over at Carl Sandburg, and you know, we're so blessed to have that property here as a national historical treasure, really. And the hiking trails and that sacred land is amazing. And Carl Sandburg won a Pulitzer Prize for his biography of Lincoln. He also was a poet and won 2 Pulitzer Prizes for that, but he also, a lot of people don't even know him for his poetry and his music, but they know him as a Lincoln biographer. And so he was, of course, a man from Illinois himself, and had always been intrigued by Lincoln the man. And so, you know, that energy here too, you can feel that. I mean, when you walk on the land that Carl Sandburg walked on, and you get to go to his home, and then to the goat barn. It's really just a treasure. And I'll tell you a little something on the side now that speaking of the goat barn. Last Sunday, this is nothing to do with my talk, but I'm going to tell you anyway. We were hiking, Ellen and I, as many of you may or may not know, have a strong urge. I want a cat. And I want a cat. And somebody says I can't have one. And so let me just tell you what's happened this week. And so I'm looking at them online all the time. Oh, isn't that cute? Yeah, it's okay. And so anyway, there's a barn cat at Carl Sandburg. Who knows that cat? And it's this big. And last week I picked it up, and it wrapped its arms around me and nuzzled its head and wouldn't let go. And Ellen's like, okay, well that softened her about this much. And then, but get this, Friday night, Jonna Ray did her conversations with the other side. And we're sitting up here, and everybody puts their little billets in and asks a question to someone on the other side. So we asked a question of Lily, our former dog, who's on the other side. And Lily was our little dachshund, and she was just like a child. And anyway, so Ellen and I put in a little thing and said, Lily, do you have a message for us? Now, Jonna doesn't know Lily. She doesn't know anything. And I read it. I said, Lily, do you have a message for us? She goes, are you thinking of getting a cat? She had no idea. And so anyway, she said, get the cat. So there you go. So that was remarkable. So now, just as I go off that path, as I often do, those of you that know me, and I had this morning for, no, anyway. So it's, but you know, as I said, Lincoln, I've been intrigued since the movie. I did a little research on him, and just really the quotes and the statements that he made. Of course, the Gettysburg Address being one of the most known, I would say, but I'm going to go over a few of the statements that he made, not only during his presidency, but during his life. And I'm going to start with this one, and it says, America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedom, it is because we've destroyed ourselves. And, you know, that to me is what we reinforce here as new thought. Oh, this is where it's at today. but really we're not going to be destroyed from out here. And where I think this whole shift is heading is for us to take that statement and recognize it, that we're here to live from the inside out, to take responsibility for what we see out here, rather than thinking that something out here is going to destroy us. We're destroying this experience through our own thoughts about it. So I thought that that was a fabulous statement that he made, 150 years ago. And he also says, this is a little poster, if you've been to our home, that we have, and we bought it when we first moved in. And it says, it's not, in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. And so, if you live to be 40 or 140, what quality of life are you showing up with every day? Are you happy? Are you, joyous? Are you kind? Are you generous? Or are you just hanging on, taking this med, or whatever, just to hang on and be fearful? And certainly I'm not saying not to do medications at all, if they're necessary and helpful. But in what spirit are we showing up for our life every day? So I would rather live a full life for 50 years than a mediocre life for 90. And so and I can say for him, although he was assassinated and died young, he also had a very full life. And I don't think that he had a day without grounding a strong presence into our Mother Earth. And of course, where did this statement go? I think speaking of the outside in, so what about the government? Of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. And, it's somewhere along the line, we've forgotten the role of government and our role in it. And, we're letting the external world dictate us rather than us taking a conscious role. I know Marianne Williamson over the years has gotten, people say, well, why are you so politically engaged and motivated? And her answer is, well, why wouldn't I be? Because that's where we're here to be. And, that's where our voice is. That's how we can make change. And so, if we can understand that each of us has that ability and power to make change. I know a lot of you guys volunteered during this election and worked, tirelessly to promote your people, one side or another. And that's a wonderful way to be. But to understand that we're just real easy to give our power away, not only to the government, but to other people's ideas and opinions, and show me what to do. What's the magazine say I'm supposed to look like today? What am I going to eat here? What am I going to do here? It's what kind of car do I need to be cool, or whatever, So we're always looking outside of ourselves. So there again, it's about us, moving into that space and claiming that and living from that. And this is a great statement he made as well. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. And ain't that the truth? And that happens, here is right. Yay. What say you? And, so anyway, but that is so true. I believe that, so often when you see, I always think of the fall of many of these evangelical preachers, Jerry Falwell, Jim and Tammy Baker. And I'm not saying that their intentions when they went through this was to make a impact that was negative necessarily, or politicians. I think that give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I think a lot of people go into these positions really with the desire to do something good. But yet that power is, can sometimes be very much like a drug. So how am I using this, when I step into it? It's like Marianne Williamson's quote that says, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. So we're, it's a fearful thing to step into that. But as I'm finding out, through all of you guys, is when we live from that, then as long as we have our compass pointing north towards the heavens, and we align our consciousness with God, we can't fail. The power comes when we start to think that we're something, a false sense of self, that I think I'm this, rather than a being of light. And I'm coming from a need to control rather than the desire to share and give. So as a great thing for us all to remember. And another statement he said, "Sir, my concern is not whether God is on my side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right." So that, follows up to what I was saying. Are we on God's side? Because God is always right. God is love. Whatever, if you see God as a man in the sky with a beard, whatever your idea of God is, when we align with that, which I just see God as an unconditional loving essence or energy, when we plug into that, we're always right. We can't lose. So that's when we step into our power. Simple statement, I don't have to elaborate on this. Most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. If you're in the ain't it awful and looking out here, oh God, life's a drag, then, you're making up your mind to be miserable. It's time to really let go of the stories, move into that God power. And of course, another famous statement he made, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." Well, there again, what's this whole shift about? It's moving us in to the oneness. No more time for division. That's not working. And my prayer for the politicians is for them to come together, not be divided. Because in our merging is our strength, in our division is our demise. So that's a wonderful reminder, an affirmation. He also goes on to say, "Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves." So that is so poignant. And, we think that, well, in his day, obviously it was about the slaves. But now, who's being denied freedom on our planet? We can make a whole story about that. It's still not healed because many people are prejudiced against. You can look at women, still African Americans, homosexuals, so many people. And then in other countries, women, children, to the degree of mutilation and death. So it really, we're all one here. And I really think he came here to remind us of that. I love when he says, "When I do good, I feel good, and when I do bad, I feel bad, and that's my religion." So it's, he was, in my mind, beyond religion. He wasn't, I think he was definitely a spiritual man and a religious man, but I think that he saw the picture beyond the limited box that a lot of religions offer. And this is a good one to remind us as well. If I don't like a man, that means I must get to know him better. And isn't that the truth? Because if there's something in somebody that really irritates us, first of all, we got to own it as our own stuff, okay? And secondly, give that person a chance, because if we got to know them better, all of us are the same in truth. At the core of our being, we are all the same. It's all this stuff that we made up along the way that keeps us separate. And so think about that. If there's something you don't like in someone, get to know that person better. And this is the last one before I go into the closing here. And I thought it was so cute. He said, "If I were two-faced, would I be wearing this one?" I thought that was fantastic. I can't say he was the most handsome dude that ever walked the planet, but his inner beauty was far greater than that of many. So, and my point is through these statements is so we can see that Abe was a remarkable being, and he, had great wisdom and insight, but also each and every one of you do. everybody on the planet does, and everybody has a voice. And as I led in the meditation, you know, to go into that space and ask for your message, your purpose to be shown to you, and then take that and share it with the earth, with everyone you meet. So I'd like to give, I think every man, woman, and child on the planet is divine and has a message and has a light to bear and share. And if anyone here got something they'd like to share, what say you? What is your message to share? I'm opening it up.
Be a loving light.
Yes, what's that?
Be a loving light.
Amen. You are that.
I'm all for cats.
You are that. You are that.
I say God approves of you and nobody else's approval matters.
There you go. You are that. Yes, indeed.
Always accept a miracle, but better yet, always accept a miracle, but better yet, surrender yourself to it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. What say everybody else? Who else?
Miracles don't just happen, they're made.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yes.
Since we're all in the soup, we better enjoy the other peas and carrots.
That's a profound message.
The cosmic soup.
Who else? Any other?
I think the shift to basing our lives on peace and love, the shift that is in it, coming in and is here, is really profound.
Amen. It sure is. Absolutely. Yes.
What wisdom can you find that is greater than kindness?
Wow. That's a Dalai Lama. My religion is simple. It's kindness. Saw a hand over here. Yeah, Sean. Okay, there's a message from the dolphins. Who else? Did you have your hand up again?
Yeah. Did anybody else see that story about the police officer and the
Yes.
I was thinking how profound, you know, that was such a simple act of kindness, but how profoundly it's affected so many people because it's just spread worldwide by, you know, through Facebook and YouTube and stuff.
I think we're craving that now.
Yeah.
You know, it's who we're becoming. Absolutely. Thanks for reminding us. Anyone else?
I still love that. Be the one you're waiting for.
That is a wonderful one. Indeed.
Go from illusion to knowing.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, we'll give you one last chance. Anyone else?
Laughter lets you keep it in perspective.
Laughter lets you keep it in perspective. Yes, indeed. That's why I'm here. Because it's all about joy. I think that joy is of the spirit, for sure. So, okay, anyone else?
Charlotte,
Yes, Sandy.
your presence changes everything.
Yes, indeed. Yes, yours does.
There's a quote by Tana Desjardins, and I can't remember it exactly, but the way to know if you're on the path to God is if you're ecstatic. It's something to that effect. Joy is the measure of
I agree with that too. Amen to that. Yes. Yes, Carol.
Love is the answer.
Love is the answer. Yes, it is. All you need is love. Jim.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Thank you, Gandhi. Yeah, perfect. Anyone else? Okay, so I invite you all to really reflect in this time that we're entering upon. We're actually in the throes of it right now, but in this sacred time when all this energy is going to be brought together for the transformation of consciousness and being here on the planet, really be quiet, be still, and ask what your purpose is. Because each and every one of us has a purpose and a divine beingness that we're here to embed on Mother Earth. And I think the simplest is be kind, be generous, be loving, and be happy. So my best and only love to each and every one of you, and so it is. Namaste.
Namaste.